Hey, it's Rose. First live attempt. Can everyone hear me? Can you see me? Are we good? I have my kid checking too. All right, I think I'm good. It says it's registering. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Am I good? Yeah. I'm good. Yay. Okay, first successful stream. Okay, so it's been a while, right? It's been, I think, 2-3 weeks since my last video, and I've mainly been doing Con Crunch. So I filmed a couple videos. I just haven't had time to edit them. So I finished a Barbie holiday from 2000, and it's fabulous. You can see it on my Instagram. And I also made a knit wrap dress that looks like Daphne, so I wore that. I've got a video pending on that. I just haven't had a chance to edit it. But with the holidays coming up, I thought I could just do a live stream where I do the pattern alterations for that Black Label Gunny Sex that I'm making for the Little Red Dress project, and also my hashtag Gunny Sex holidays. So I will walk you through the pattern alterations I'm doing, and I will be, keeping my eyes on the chat. So hopefully a couple of folks will join along, and looks like, ooh, yay, okay. my daughter put comments, so that means it's working. How exciting. Okay, so I'm going to adjust the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Let's make sure it's not, I'm still trying to figure out if it's going to be upside down or not for you, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so it will be upside down. Oh, let me move this for you so you can see. Okay, so here are the pattern pieces that I got from the sewist.com. Hold on, let me move it a little bit so you can see. Okay, so this are the bodice pieces from the sewist.com pattern that we drafted together in my last video. So this is the center front, so you can see it'll be cut on a fold. We're going to need to alter this just a little bit. And then this is the side front that matches at this point. And then there is a waistband. And this is all one piece, so we're going to have to break this apart and add some seam allowances. And then we have the back. Let's see, can you see it? We've got the back, and then also a waistband. So the sewist.com, it was only a waistband all the way around. It didn't let me remove the waistband in the back as well. So we will be altering the back to include this additional length. And then with this front, we will be adjusting these seam lines right here. So what I have done is I've just roughly cut them out from the pattern, and I will be tracing these and then also doing some pattern adjustments. And I have my tea. I think I caught Con Crunch like everyone else, even though I was masked and I used tons of hand sanitizer. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to bring up the dress picture on my iPad so we can look at those alterations together. How is everyone? I've been super busy doing holiday stuff, and then Emerald City Comic Con was last weekend. So I was in the city for all 4 days. We got a hotel room down the street. It made it super convenient. We drove up Wednesday night and then went at the con Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The first day, my daughter and I dressed up as Scooby-Doo characters. She was wearing her Scooby-Doo onesie, and I wore the Daphne wrap dress that I will be editing that video and hopefully posting it in the next couple of weeks. On Friday, I was a holiday Barbie along with 15 other folks, and it was so much fun. It was a little difficult moving around because it was a giant dress, but I have glitter everywhere inside my house. There was glitter all over the hotel room. Oh, but it was so much fun to make. I think that's the most fun I've had at a Comic-Con ever. Okay, let me find, here we go. Okay. Come on. Well, it's not letting me remove it. I don't know if you can see it, the dress I'm making. Let me see if I can make it big. Why can't I? I'll just download it if I can. This is bad planning. Yeah, it's not really working. I don't know if you can see that. So that is the dress that we are going to be mirroring. Oh, yeah, sorry, it just messed up on me. Is anyone else here? I don't think so. Okay. I'm hoping that I can download this once it's done loading, and then I can edit it a little bit, because I obviously love editing, because this all would have been edited out. So I'm going to pull up my Instagram because it's all saved there. I don't know why Dropbox is lagging a little bit. Okay, so we'll just look. So here is my Instagram account on this dress. I don't know if you can see. Hold on. Let me bring it up on my phone. I don't know why Dropbox was being weird. Here we go. Can y'all see that? So that is the dress I'm going to be recreating. And when I see this dress and I look at this, it looks like that that inset is a little bit narrower around the front, and this is wider. So what I'll probably end up doing is alter the pattern to bring in this seam, and then probably closer to here for the inset, and then move all of this over. So I will sketch this out, and then when I do my tracing, I will do those pattern alterations. And I will have to mock this up because that is quite a, oh, you can't see it, quite a big change. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is the adjustments for the front bust. You hear all my rulers smacking around. Okay. So here, let me see if I can put that there so you can all see. So we need to bring this in a little bit. I'm thinking that if I mark it here, that's going to be about the inside, and then I'm going to need to taper it out. What are our thoughts? Do you think this is a good spot for that? I'm thinking it'll be okay. And then taper it out. Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to do this. So these lines right here, I ordered the sewist.com pattern with the seam allowances. So so we are going to, if you look on this picture, we've got an equal distance, almost like an exposed facing here, until we taper down to probably about here. And that's when we shift down. So I will measure this distance here. This is 1 3/4. So that's what I'll stick to all the way around. And I'm just sketching it on this, but I'm not going to be making any cuts on this pattern. I'm just going to be like tracing these once I make notes. Right. 1 3/4 all the way around. And this is just kind of my best guess based on what's exposed on this picture. Again, all of these pictures came from By Sin by Hand. I haven't checked today, but the dress is actually was for sale on her eBay. And so I would definitely check out her shop if you're at all interested about Gunny Sacks dresses. She had a really awesome pattern a couple weeks ago that I added to my stories because it's the same pattern I used for my Perfect Prairie dress. Oh, I don't know. I think that might be Cameron. I'm not sure if that's spam or not, but I might delete you later. Okay. So what I have done is I have measured 1 3/4 of an inch all the way down. And so I'm just sketching this. I do have a design ruler right here, and I might use that depending on how janky this looks when I finish sketching. And I brought this down just for like seam allowance purposes. I like to have a 90-degree angle here when I sketch. Okay. Let me make sure. And I'm just doing this in pencil. I'm making it a lot darker than I would if I was just sketching on my own, just so you can see it. But at least I can delete it. And I'm probably not going to go that far. I just wanted to have this mapped out before I got too far. And this is going to be what's exposed. I will have to add a seam allowance to this, but I'm going to ignore that for now. Okay. So if we look at, let me bring up, if we look at this picture, we need to kind of estimate where that facing is going to taper off. And if I look, it is, I'm thinking it's like here. What are we thinking? Erase this and see if we think that that's good. Maybe here. Might be a little bit too wide once we add it. Now I'll taper a little bit more because this is going to be where the side front and the center front are going to attach. So anytime we have extreme angles, that's going to make the patterns difficult to align. All right, so let me connect these two. We want to keep a straight line, and that looks like it's, if I'm looking, it does look like it tapers in just a little bit. All right. So what are we thinking? So I'm trying to create this exposed facing. I think this is pretty good. So this is going to be where my new center front and side front connect. And I will trace this when I do my pattern alteration. So what's going to happen is this excess on the pattern is going to need to be added to this, but I have a pretty full bust. So it's going to take at least one mock-up to make sure the fullness I move from this piece to this piece doesn't create some wonky seams. And then for this is the waistband. But this came in one piece with the sewist.com pattern. So this is supposed to be where the seam lines intersect. We're going to have to move that to match this new seam line. So I'm going to match the center front. Lay it on top, make it a little bit easier for y'all to see. So what I'm doing is it's kind of hard to see, but this is a waistband right there. So I'm thinking I actually need to make this a little bit bigger. So that would mean that our center front waistband chunk is only going to be about 5 inches. Do we think 5 inches is enough? Yeah, I think 5 inches will be enough. Okay. And then we need to, we've got 2 3/8, so I'll mark 2 3/8 all the way down. 2 3/8. This is our new seam, and then all of this is going to be the new expanded side front. So we will need to add a seam allowance on both sides of this, because this is now our new notch, which I will trace. And then this is going to be not relevant for our new piece, and I will try to even this out a little bit. So this is actually, I wonder if we're going to need that little divot. I'm not going to include it because I'm going to be doing a mock-up, and I can alter this pattern after the fact. Okay, so I'm going to trace this portion right here of our center front. I'm going to keep it on a fold, and then I need to trace this piece. So I use Perfect Pattern Paper. It is a Pellon product. I don't know if you all can see that. I buy it when it goes on sale at Joann's, or sometimes you can get it fairly discounted online at Amazon. And I like, I trace all my patterns because my weight fluctuates, but I also like working with this because it is pretty see-through, as you can see, but it's super durable. It's almost, it's like interfacing. And then when it goes on sale, you can buy it, I think, for like $1 a yard. There are cheaper alternatives. Some folks like using like doctor examination paper, but I'm not a fan of that, I think. And I also don't like the sound of it. I don't like the texture of it. This is just what I found works best for me. And then when I trace, I use my washers, just like when I use my rotary cutter to cut out my fabric. So it's going to be a little bit loud. And then I mark grain line first. How's everyone doing? Oh, thanks for going live. This is interesting. Awesome. Okay, I'm so glad you're here. This is my first live. So let me know how it's going. And I will be posting this as part of the sew along for the Black Label Gunny Sacks dress. And I'm hoping I'll be able to edit a little bit in post. Okay, so if you see right here, we've got the grain line that actually extends outside of the facing I'm going to be tracing. So I'm going to move that here, and then let me delete this because that'll be confusing as I trace. And I don't know, tracing and cutting out my fabric is like the least exciting parts of garment sewing, but I actually enjoy doing pattern alterations, so it just takes a little bit of work to get me there. Okay, so I am tracing the center front that will make the, let me bring it up again in case folks didn't see. This is the dress I am currently recreating for the Little Red Dress Project 21, and also for hashtag Gunny Sacks Holidays. So I got the pattern from sewist.com, but it isn't exact, it isn't perfect. So I'm making the alterations to the pattern from sewist.com to align it a little bit better. So I have to move some of these seam lines and everything right now. So I'm just tracing. If you have any questions, I will be better about checking the chat. And so far, I think I've only had one spam comment, so we're doing pretty good so far. No weirdos. And I think The tracing and pattern alterations probably going to take maybe an hour. And then I will be doing the mock-up tonight as well. Depending on how long it takes, I will probably end the live around 10 p.m. PST. So I'll be here for, 4 to 5 hours more. So I'm tracing, and these lines on the outside are seam allowances. You do have to pay extra at sewist.com to get seam allowances added to the custom patterns. I know some folks prefer working without seam allowances, but I like it. It's just a reminder that I need to add them. Okay. And I'm using pencil. I actually usually use a black colored pencil when I trace my patterns, because sometimes this smudges a little bit more than a black colored pencil. So I have eliminated some of this fullness from the center front of this pattern. But what I will need to do is add a seam allowance here. This is cut on the center fold, so no seam allowance there. And the seam allowance that came with this pattern, 3/8. Okay, so like 1 centimeter. So I will mark 3/8 all the way along the seam. And let me grab a smaller ruler because that's clunky. There we go. Is anyone working on anything right now, or are we just hanging out? I love Friday nights, especially during the winter. I can just stay home. It's like what I look forward to all week while I'm working is logging off and getting creative. And depending on the seam allowance, I have seen some folks actually like attach 2 pencils together and trace, and that's how they add their seam allowance. It might work here, but I haven't ever tried it. If you've tried it, let me know. And once I am done doing the pattern alterations today, I will do the mock-up, but because I ordered this pattern to fit my size, unlike, grading up a vintage pattern by 6-7 inches, I am not, and I'm probably going to regret this, going to be doing a mock-up of the skirt. So we'll see what happens. So today is just going to be the front, the back, the waistband, and I do one sleeve instead of both sleeves just to save fabric. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I have added 3/8 seam allowance to center front. My handwriting is super sloppy. So, FYI, I'm caring for my sick parents. Oh, bummer. Okay, well, I hope they're well, or that you're taking care of them. That's fabulous that you're able to do that for them. Cut one on fold. So this is going to be the red fabric. So I'm just going to mark red fab just to remind myself. Okay, and I'm just going to roughly cut this out. I use a rotary cutter to cut out my fabric. So when I'm getting closer, when I cut out the mock-up, I will probably trim it a little bit closer, or just put a fresh blade in my rotary cutter, and then that'll save me some time. So we see how I feel when I get there. Okay, so we need to combine this fullness right here on the pattern with this pattern piece. So I am going to trace this one, and then we'll have to get a little bit of creative. I wasn't expecting this much fullness to need to be moved over, but we'll see what happens, right? That's why we do mock-ups. And I am not professionally trained. I have just been sewing a lot, especially during COVID. So I've gotten a little bit more confident in my pattern alteration skills. And then if you are not aware of the Closet Historian, she is amazing. I watch her videos all the time, and I have learned so much from her because she does, she has like blocks, and she's walked through how to create blocks and then how to use those blocks to build custom patterns. And it's so exciting. She has taught me so much. And I am on her Patreon as well, just to support her because, again, she's just taught me so much. So I don't know if you can see this. Let me move some stuff around. And so far my camera, well, as I say, wow, it's been keeping me in focus, and then it starts unfocusing, right? That's how it works. Okay, I think you can see most of this. If there's anything in particular you want to see closer, or you've got any questions, just let me know. What's the weather like where everyone is at? We had a nice break in the rain today, but like everyone else in the Pacific Northwest, we are getting tons of rain. I try not to complain about the rain because I have previously lived in California that's always in drought. But today was a nice break, not too much rain. All right, I'll mark this grain line. And this is weird. So I haven't ordered a pattern with seam allowances from sewist.com, but it looks like we have a 5/8 on the side seams, but a 3/8 along the top seam and the shoulder seam. So this is going to give us a little bit more flexibility with fitting. I'm just going to have to remember when I sew this up that the side seams are 5/8, but then this seam is 3/8. So that's a little funky. And these are all like computer mapped patterns from sewist.com. So, and I think this one was like $3 at the time. There was a sale for, I think, like 99 cents or 94 cents on Black Friday. So, you know, you kind of get what you pay for. This isn't going to be a perfect pattern, but it's better than me trying to draft it myself or hacking a bunch of vintage patterns together, because I just didn't want to do that. Because with the vintage pattern, not only would I have to trace it, but I would actually have to then grade it. And then after grading, then do the alterations. And I didn't want to do that, especially when I can pay, you know, like $1, well, Black Friday, or $3 when I bought this pattern, to have someone do it for me. And same with, you know, PDF patterns. I will send it to the printer majority of the time, unless it is, you know, like 9 or 10 8x10 sheets that I have to paste together. If it's anything more than that, it's not worth my time. Sorry, I know my washers are heavy. Yeah, I use washers to hold down my fabric and my pattern pieces. They work pretty well. These I got from, I think, like Home Depot. I've got a big old box of them. I have bought smaller washers, and then I joined them with washi tape. So these are the smaller washers, but you have to like put 2 or 3 together, and then I've got washi tape on them. I don't know. I prefer these. It's a lot easier, but they take up more space. So if you've got smaller pieces, you're going to have to slide them around a little bit, which can make it a little bit tricky. Yeah, I usually will pattern trace during, I have a group that we do Zoom calls every other week, because just pattern tracing can be a little bit monotonous. And I do have background music. It's from Lofi Girl, so I can play it without my stream shutting down. If it's too loud or if you want me to turn it up, let me know and I can adjust the volume. I just like having background noise when I work. Usually it would be like an audiobook or like a movie I've seen multiple times, but obviously I can't stream with that in the background. And apologies if the washers are loud. Okay, so I have traced out this piece. I have all of the markings and I'm just putting side front on here. And I'm going to cut to fab and then red. Oh no, this is the 12 fabric. So that's the, let me share my picture again. Yeah, so I'm going to be cutting this piece out of this, this floral, like pastoral scene. And I'm using a vintage fabric from the 70s for this, and it's all like super bicentennial with, you know, looks like George Washington and some wagons and stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to cut this out yet. I'm going to try to smoosh this onto here. So we'll see what happens. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. I'm probably going to need to release some fullness somewhere. Let's see what happens. I will definitely be doing a mock-up. So we have about 2 3/4 at the bottom, and then I will take that out. 2 3/4. Oops. And I don't know if y'all can't see this. Let me move it up. So I'm trying to smush the center front excess that I have, hold on, that I'm going to have to remove from this pattern to this side front piece. So right now I am just measuring from here all the way up. We'll see if the mock-up is successful. And then what do we have here? We've got about 1 5/8 at the top. Okay. May have to add some more fabric up here. I will have to add just a smidge at the very top. Okay. Bad planning on my part. I should have probably moved this down a little bit more and then I wouldn't have had to add that tiny little piece, but that's okay. Right, so I need like 1 5/8. Mark that here. Okay. Wait, oh no, I was way off. I'm 5/8 in general. Okay. 5/8. Okay, and then the seam allowance here is 3/8. So I will mark that here as well. Yeah, like barely needed anything. Oh, that's super frustrating. Okay. And then I think the lowest is 1/2. So I think I'm gonna go 5/8 all the way down until, let's measure, 3.5. And then let me wake up my phone so folks can see the facings I'm trying to draft on the front of this dress. I absolutely love this dress. Even if like I saved and bought the original, there's no way that vintage gunny sacks would fit me. I think the largest size they came in was like a 13 juniors, maybe a 15 juniors. So that's like a bust of 36, and my bust right now is like 44, 45. So definitely not going to happen. All right, so I had measured 3.5 down. So I'm marking 3.5, and that is where the 5/8 needs to be tapered to something a little bit more. So let me move this along. All right, and then we have 3 and 5. Okay, right there. Perfect. So this is the 3.5 mark, and then it moves to 3/4 by 4 inches. Okay. We'll start tapering that out. Okay. So right now I am, let me see if you can see. So these seam allowances are already drawn in, so I'm actually overlapping them and just matching, you know, where the seams intersect. And then this is going to take some. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to need to play with this, the mock-up a lot. Just because of all of this curve here, it's going to take some, it's going to take a little bit of work to make sure I'm removing the fullness from where it needs to be removed. Okay. So I'm going to start tapering that out. So I'm going to pivot a little bit and we'll see what happens. I'm trying to kind of keep these seams aligned with my finger, and we'll see what happens when I do my mock-up. All right, I'm going to just drop this a little bit and then try to even it out. And we'll see what happens when I have to sew them together. All right. So this I can ignore because that was the original pattern piece that I don't need anymore. And what I'll need to do is add a seam allowance all the way down here. And the seam allowance for this seam, just to double check, I believe is 3/8. Yeah, 3/8. Okay. So this is looking promising. I think this is going to be mostly along the grain and most of the bias here. So hopefully that'll work. Again, this is why I do mock-ups, because I don't know. I really do love playing around with pattern alterations. It doesn't work all the time, but you then learn what doesn't work. And I'm really excited about this project. I cannot wait to wear it for Christmas. If you can't wear a beautiful frilly princess dress on Christmas, when can you wear it, right? Where is everybody from? I see Oregon. I'm from the Seattle area. Well, like the burbs. So if you're local, you know, you don't say Seattle if you're from the burbs. Anyone working on anything exciting? Okay. So we have now drafted the side front and the center front. So what should happen, if I did this right, these should connect. So this is going to be a notch, and I will put a notch. Let's see, where did that boat intersect? Right here. Okay, and then, yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of easing. So let me line this up a little bit, and then I will make sure that we ease between these 2 points. We'll see if that works. Okay. I'll cut this out. So this is probably, what I just did is probably the most complicated pattern alterations I'm going to need to do for this, because it is around the bust fullness, and that's the trickiest part to fit. So we will definitely be making a mock-up of this. And I'm excited and optimistic that what we have just done will work. I will probably, when I cut out my mock-up, I'm probably going to maybe make my seam allowances just a little bit bigger on the mock-up, just in case I need to adjust where the fullness sits. We shall see. What do other folks use for mock-up? I just use muslin most of the time. I buy it in bulk. Lately, it's been from Metro Textiles because they sell 5-yard pieces of lightweight muslin. I don't remember how much it charged me, but it seemed pretty reasonable at the time. And I am one of those people that pre-washes their muslin, so it kind of gets wrinkly. But I think it gives a better indication of drape than leaving all of the sizing on there. I don't know. I will never be able to press the wrinkles out of muslin, but this dress, I will be sewing it out of quilting cotton. I would prefer like a poly cotton blend, like the original. Some of the gunny saxes were poly cotton, or rayon. I like working with rayon, but I was not able to find that, the garden, was it 12 to Joy, I think is what it's called. I wasn't able to find that fabric in anything but a cotton base. It was just the tiniest smidge. Oh, how frustrating. I didn't even need to tape that extra piece. Oh well, at least I know that now. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. So these pieces are done. And we now have this piece and this piece as the section of the dress. Okay, so now what we need to do is get the waistband figured out. So here is this is our front waist. So this is our center front, and this is the new center front, and let's just make sure that's still aligned. Yep, that's good. So the rest of this is going to be the side front. So I will trace that out. Do I have a small piece that I can? Yeah, I'll use this tiny piece. Oh, I need to add seam allowance. Is this piece going to be big enough? Yeah, that'll be big enough for seam allowance. Right, and so this pattern uses 3/8 seam allowance. And since this is my first live, I am hoping that I will be able to like download this later and create like an editable version, so I can kind of eliminate a lot of my ums and any of like my frantic trying to pull up the picture on my phone for reference, and I can just have the picture on the screen. But we shall see. Oops, it just shifted a little bit. That's what I get for not putting my washers down. Ooh, I have 3 viewers and 4 likes. Thank you. So this needs to get cut on the center front, and this is red. Cut 1. right? Yeah. Does it say? Yeah, it doesn't say to interface the waistband. So, I don't think I'm going to interface it because it kind of, it's drapes very similar to the rest of the dress. So we should be fine with that. Anyone have exciting plans for the weekend? I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do this weekend. Kind of nice being home. Last weekend at Emerald City, it was a lot of fun, but it was tiring. Definitely 4 days. I don't know if I'll do 4 days again. I mean, it was so much fun though. Like no regrets at all. Okay, so here we have the front waist inset. Will it fit on here? Yes, it will. And I do the same thing that I'm doing with my pattern paper as I do for, oh, you're in Portland. Hi, Kimberly. I just saw your comment. Hopefully it hasn't been sitting there. Oh, dude, I got my booster on Monday and it laid me out. Oh, pumpkin spice latte. Oh, that sounds exciting. So is it a like rust pumpkin or is it more of like a creamy orange? That sounds so exciting. So it sounds like, so you're recovering. When did you get your booster? I'm hoping it was maybe yesterday, the day before, and you haven't been sick all week. It's worth it though. So glad people are actually able to get their booster. I know some folks had a hard time getting appointments and access to it. Oh, Starbucks. That will be fun. I didn't know you were like your basic street clothes. I thought you would wear uniforms, but I don't know. Would I want to wear my pretty gunny sacks to coffee? I spill it enough and I don't work there. But that should be fun. Like the lace could be like the foam. Oh, yesterday. Okay. Yeah. So you should feel better by tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So I'm not sure, Kimberly, if you have seen my channel before, if you're familiar with this, but I am making a black label gunny sacks. Let me put the picture up if you haven't already seen it. I had a video a couple weeks ago where I show how you can get use sewist.com to kind of create custom patterns. So that's what I'm doing right now is I am using a sewist.com pattern to make this black label dress. So right now I'm having to make some alterations to the waistband because it's really hard to see, but you can see there is a waistband on here. So I'm just redrafting, and I will be making a mock-up of this out of some muslin. I will be good. The fabric I'm using is vintage from the 70s, so I definitely will not be able to repurchase if I mess up. So we shall see what happens. What style pumpkin spice latte dress are you making? Is it going to be like long sleeve or sundress? Gunny Sacks made so many beautiful dresses. It's a shame they don't make them anymore. Okay, so I am not having a center front. This is going to connect here. So I am going to make sure I have a notch, just so I know which pieces need to go together. So this is center waistband. Yeah, don't cringe at my handwriting. All right, and this is I should probably say top, bottom, just to make it easier. And then, oh, there is a notch on the side. Okay, you can mark that. Oh, 3 fabrics. Oh, nice. were you able to find something besides quilting cotton? Or are you using quilting cotton? That's what I found the best bet for finding coordinating fabric like the originals. Okay, this is the side front waistband. And this is the 12 fabric cut to. All right, so I think the front tracing and pattern alterations are done. Timeless Treasures. Ooh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I used, was it a Timeless Treasures? For my, the black and white one that I made for my first draft last year. I'll have to look. Timeless Treasures has some really great fabric, great coordinating fabrics. Which makes it like, kind of like great and also difficult at the same time. Oh, small leaves on black. Nice. Perfect autumnal dress. Plus there's, yeah. With all the different coordinating quilting cotton, it's kind of like, oh, and I can make this one, and I can make this one, and I can make that one. And it's just like an excuse to buy more fabric, which is fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love fabric. Okay, right here. So this is going to be a solid color, so it's okay if I accidentally put it on upside down. I will mark that. Okay, so front waist is done. So we have these pieces. I will move that over here. So now what I need to do is, oh, coffee beans. Oh my gosh, that is going to be so cute. Oh, I'm excited for you. I obviously have had my 2 cups of coffee, but I'm probably going to need another cup of coffee by the time I'm done. Okay, so this is the back of the pattern that came from sewist.com. I did not have an option to eliminate the waistband in the back because based on these pictures, I do not see a waistband in the back. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so here is a picture of the back. I do not, I know it's super hard to see with the floral fabric. I do not see a waistband. I just see where it connects from the skirt to the back. So I'm going to be combining the length of this waistband to my back piece. So this is going to be 4 inches. Easy enough. Okay, so I am not going to trace this out. I am just going to add 4 inches to the bottom. Now, if I later have to alter, I might trace. We'll see. Oh no, yeah, I don't know if there's a way to see photos. Kimberly, if you don't mind, do you have Instagram so I can look you up after? I might already be following you, especially if you're a gunny sacks fanatic. We tend to find each other pretty easily on the internet, right? Yeah, I'm still learning the YouTube live. I don't know. There might be limitations. I will look into that. And then if I can figure out a way to let people add photos to the chat, and the next time I go live, I will put that out there. Okay, I'll just make a long line here. And then a long line here. It's so easy. And then let me taper a little bit, actually, because I'm going to need, there is a little bit of a taper. Okay. I'm sorry, you probably can't see this. I'm trying to, I'm going to be good and add this curve, but it's really hard to see it. I'm gonna have to cut this. I was trying to be lazy and not trim my pieces. That's just what happens. And then Kimberly answered yes. It's a, I'm not sure if I'm following you already. If you're following me, I'm just shooting questions left and right. So I'm not sure what you answered. I'm sorry. Yeah, my goal is to have this completed, hopefully by next week. The reveal for the Little Red Dress project, I think starts on December 20th. I will have to double check, but I should have plenty of time. I'll be working on this quite a bit this weekend. But this is probably the only live I will do for it, because I like being able to edit my mumbling and my rambling. Don't we all, right? Oh, cool. I know it's so hard with social media because there's Facebook, there's Instagram, and you don't really want to be part of the machine, right? But then it's hard to see what other folks are doing. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited about your dress. That's going to be a lot of fun. I love seeing what other people do. There's so many fabulous details on all of these gunny sacks dresses, and so gives you a lot of room to customize and pick and choose the details that you like. And so it's just super inspiring to see what other folks do. And Kimberly, I am _Rose_Brown on Instagram if you aren't able to find me. I really should consolidate again all the fabulous social media stuff. But I found so many wonderful local sewists to me and just other folks through social media that it's hard to give it up. I find YouTube is a little less frustrating than the other, Facebook and Instagram, because you can kind of control what you consume a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to measure the difference here. About an inch. This is probably about an inch. Perfect. Okay. So right now I am measuring the grain line and measuring the center of this dart. And I'm going to be marking a parallel line just to mark my dart legs. So right now it looks like that should be pretty good. And then the dart legs on here are 1/2 inch. So I will mark that. This is going to be a little bit of a long dart, but I will probably have to alter it a little bit when I make my mock-up, but it should be pretty good. All right, and then I always cross out my original idea and how I came across your Halloween project was for a Disney Maid Marian Disney bounding. Oh, that would be so pretty. That's a great idea. Are you still working on that, or you changed your mind? Because that sounds like an adorable Disney bound. And then would you make little fox ears? Oh, that would be so cute. Oh, Kimberly, you're giving me too many ideas. So I do see we've got 3 folks watching. Feel free to comment if you want, or not. Just lurk. That's fine. We're having a blast. So right now, oh, sorry, let's see. Oh, so yeah, it's the one with the foxes, right? The fox Robin Hood had made Marion, and then I think Little John's a bear. Yeah, that is definitely one of my favorite Disney movies. I wouldn't have even thought about Disney bounding that, but that is such a great idea. Yeah, I've gone to Disneyland twice, and both times I had grand aspirations of Disney bounding. Oh yes, on the ears. Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. That sounds like so much fun. Yeah. That would be a cute little substitute from your standard like Mickey Mouse ears, right? Oh, so exciting. Yeah. Yeah, the animals in that movie are so cute. I think my favorite is oh yeah, the little boy bunny who is like trying to stick up for Robin Hood and borrows his bow and arrow. Oh yeah, those bunnies are so cute. I haven't seen it in a while. Probably not since I was a little kid. Or no, I think my daughter, she watched it a couple times when she was younger. But we haven't Disney bounded it. I always think to, and I just never follow through. Okay, so let's double check the back. So right here, let me see if you can see that. See there's that facing in the back? That's the next thing I'm going to have to draft. Is this exposed safe facing? And then if I used to live in the Bay Area. Oh, I used to live in the Bay Area too. Yeah, I used to live in Sonoma County. Yeah, I was never an annual pass holder, but yeah, I think you have to live in California to have the annual pass. So one downside of moving away, I guess. Yeah, a smidge. I'm just gonna do a smidge. So this is 1 7/8 is going to be the bunny is so cute. Yeah, right. 1 7/8 is going to be the width of the exposed facing, and then there will be a lace insert in between those 2 seams when I make this. So Castro Valley, sweet. Yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time in that area of the Bay Area. I went to school in San Francisco, but I was so busy. Oh, grew up in Oakland, sweet. Yeah, my husband went to college there. I didn't explore much when I lived there. We didn't leave much, and then I went to San Francisco for school, but I was so busy with school, I didn't have a chance to explore at all. Right. So right now I am going to trace this facing. And if you can hear my cat, I'm sorry, she's just being super high maintenance right now. Yeah, more than 8 days. Okay, he already did the math. I love it. Yeah, I know they've changed so much stuff about visiting the parks with COVID, which is understandable. But yeah, we haven't been since I think 2018. And I've never been to Walt Disney World. So that's probably going to be the next one we visit. And I definitely want to bound when I go there. Trying to think, do I add a seam allowance to the base of the facing? I will. No, this is the exposed facing, not an internal facing. So yes, I do need to add a seam allowance. And so I'm like facing the camera down so you can see the pattern alterations, and it's probably a good thing because you're missing out on my concentration face. Nobody needs to see that. Let's see how much. Oh, I've been live for a little over 1 hour. Okay. Going a little bit slower than I thought, but I'm probably chatting a little too much. We went to Walt Disney in March 2017 before moving. Yeah, always wanted to go and visit Epcot and eat the whole like, what do they call it? Like international, but it's like food from every country. That's what I'm very food driven, so that excites me. But I know it's quite a bit bigger too. Right, so I need to add the seam allowance to here, which is 3/8. Yeah, I haven't looked into it. It's pretty much COVID because it's just depressing to think about traveling. But I definitely want to check out the new Star Wars stuff, especially the cantina. We were there 10 days and still didn't see everything. Wow. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, because there's like multiple parks too, right? Like there's Epcot, and then I think there's a couple of like animal related ones. I don't know. There's just Disney knows what they're doing, getting captive audiences to spend thousands of dollars. All right, so I'm going to cut this off. So this is the exposed facing line, and then this is the seam allowance that I just added. So then after this, I think we're done with the bodice. I will need to look at the sleeves next. The sewist.com, because you can pick and choose design details, didn't quite have the sleeve I was going for. So I'm going to kind of play around with that pattern and make sure it'll work, or maybe I need to make the cuff longer or something. So sorry, my camera is having a hard time focusing. Come on. There we go. Yeah, when I last went to Disneyland, I think we were there for 3 or 4 days, and I bet that was beautiful. Yeah, March. Yeah, that's perfect time. So that's after hurricane season and hopefully not too hot. Yeah, 4 parks. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of walking. Oh man, I hope you had comfortable shoes. So I noticed today, or last weekend when we were at the con, I haven't, been out and about for quite some time. Oh man, my feet were so tired. I was so tired. I'm like, man, I'm out of shape. Okay, so we have the bodice done. Now we're going to do the sleeves. So sleeve is fairly big. Walked an average of 10 miles a day. Oh my, yeah, that's a lot of walking. Okay, so here are the, this is the cuff that came with the sewist.com pattern, and here is the sleeve. So I think when I did the mock-up of the sewist.com pattern, the sleeves came out a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of it, which means I will have to, let me turn my volume down. I'm gonna have to go to several pairs. Yeah, right? Okay. I'm gonna just go to my old video and find the link for the pattern I created because I didn't save it. Bad planning. Here we go. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see here, but see how the sleeve looks like it's 3/4? So I'm going to need to extend the cuff. So let's look at the picture again. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to make the cuff longer. And I will measure my final measurements. So if you log on later and want to make the same dress, you won't have to kind of like fumble around like I did. Yeah, so if you see here, I think I can use the base sleeve. I just need to make the cuff longer. So I'm going to measure the length of both of these and kind of estimate how long I need to make the cuff. Oh, yeah, it's not the most precise process, but yeah, thanks for watching the process. I usually will edit this, so when I have a success, that's what I have people follow. But yeah, I'm thinking it needs to be maybe 10 inches. So the cuff part is 8 inches long, and then we've got 16, so that's 24. I'm gonna say the puff of the sleeve is probably going to take up 1.5 inches, so 8 plus 15 is 23. So I'm measuring from the seam of my shoulder down to where I want it to end. And it's, let me see, it comes out 23. So maybe I just, I think, I'm going to add, because that looks like it needs to be longer than 8 inches. How long are 8 inches? So 8 inches is this. So that would be that far up on my sleeve. Well, it actually looks about right. Right? I think that looks about 8 inches. Okay, all right. Let me double check. 8 inches. All right, I'm doing it. I'm not making a sleeve alteration. Let's see what happens. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, what's next? I'm not making anything sleeves. Oh, the skirt. Okay. So I'm going to move this stuff to the side. Well, thank you for saying that, Kimberly, that you like to know the rationale behind my decisions. Yeah, we'll see if I regret it later. So let me bring my pattern pieces. So this is going to sound a little bit loud because it's all printed paper. So you're going to hear crinkling paper because I put So here is all of the skirt, or make the top sleeve longer, you think? Because I measured from my, yes, because it's not up to my elbow. And you think it comes up to the elbow? See, I haven't seen anyone actually wear that dress. I've only seen it hanging on a hanger. So let me check. That's a good call. Let me, I'll see if I can find a picture of someone actually wearing it. Black Label 12 Gunny Sex dress. Oh, you're right. Good call out, Kimberly. Look at that. Wow, it's so much longer on the dress than it is hanging. Wow. Thank you. I would have regretted that decision. And you say no regrets, only learning experiences. Okay, so if we want to go up to the elbow, good call out. Thank you so much for that. We are looking at what are we thinking? So from my waist to my elbow, I'm thinking 10 inches. So I need to lengthen the cuff by 2 inches, which is easy to do. I will do that. Thank you so much for joining, Kimberly, because you would have, I would have had more work. I wouldn't have thought about it. And I'm going to measure this just to see how big this opening is. 8 and okay. All right. So I am going to add the length back here, and then I will, now that I'm looking at this again, I'm so glad I looked at this again. I'll have to alter the cuff because, oh, come on. There we go. I'm going to have to alter the cuff for the zippers, right? Let me see if I can find a picture. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So there's a zipper that goes all the way up. Forearms looks like it would be not quite to elbow on the dress. Okay. So maybe 9.5. So I'll add 1.5 inches. So let's go from, yeah. So I don't know if you can see. So here's my elbow. And if I go from the base of my sleeve, I'm thinking 9.5. So it's just shy of my elbow. Yeah. I think I'm going to go 9.5. And then I will have to alter this to include the zipper, which I will put right along the grain line. Thank you so much. I'm gonna cut it. Here we go. I know I probably make this way harder than I need to when I'm trying to like save paper. It's not like paper's that expensive. It's just, I do the same thing when I'm cutting. I cut everything out of single layer. I have memories of these dresses or things that looked like them. Do you own any original gunny sacks? I have one that I haven't done a video on yet. Obviously, it doesn't fit me and it needs some repairs, but I'm hoping maybe my daughter would want to wear it one day. We'll see. As is, or up to the elbow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just lengthen it 1.5 inches. And we'll see what happens. Some were just oversized cuffs. Okay. Well, let's just go whole hog then. Let's do 2. If I've got enough paper, we'll see. All right, no, I will do 1.5 inches because I didn't put that much paper on here. So I'm just going to, and this is the top part of the sleeve. It just makes a little bit more sense to add it there. I don't want to make the arm, you know, my wrist opening too narrow. Yeah, I'm so glad Gunny Sacks is coming. My mom's dress had 5 buttons on the cuff and also had one up to the elbow. I love the look of buttoned cuffs, but trying to do that up just seems like it would be super frustrating. Oh, bummer. Okay. Yeah, that's one thing. There's a lot of really good pictures of Gunny Sacks dresses. Oh, she had lookalikes. Yeah, my mom didn't have any Gunny Sacks either. They were very expensive. So she didn't have them. And then I do have some patterns from that time period that my grandmother sewed up for my aunts. And so I have those in my collection. And then I've recently bought, overpaid for the like the legit Gunny Sack sewing patterns. And I was just adding 1/2 inches like I normally do. And this is a 3/8. So I'm having to go back and update my seam allowance. Oh, and you can see I'm using my black pen. I reverted to that. That's fine. I think I'll be okay. I don't think I need to erase any of this. Yeah, I was one of the things I was most excited is my daughter is of high school age. And I was thinking, oh, I can, you know, like sew her all of her formal dresses and everything. And pretty much since she's joined high school, since she's been in high school, they've been under, you know, quarantine and COVID rules. So she hasn't been able to go to any formal class, formal dances yet. So I will not be able to make her a Gunny Sacks dress, even if she wanted it. And she's not as enthusiastic about dresses as I was at her age. Fake it with elastic. Oh, with the buttons? Yeah. I did that on one of my dresses recently, and that seemed to work. I'm trying to remember which one. I think it might have been a neck closure. Yeah, with elastic loops. Yeah. It's so weird. So this is my first live, and there's a little bit of a delay from like my question and your comment. So if I misinterpret any of your comments, let me know. Okay, so Kimberly, with your help, I have lengthened my cuff from the top 1.5 inches. And then I will need to make a, I'm thinking this is going to be close, right? Because the zipper's on the outside. I need to find the halfway point for the zipper. And if these weren't like a printed PDF, I would have traced all of these pattern pieces. But if I need to, I can reprint these. All right, so I need to cut 4 red times 2 because I will probably be facing these. Cut 2 red times 2, so 8 total. Because I will have sew these with the zipper So that's 2, and then the inside 2, so 4 per cuff, 8. Yeah, the school is trying to do stuff like formals, so they like will have spirit weeks and they decorate the campus, but they don't have the kids do after school stuff, which is a bummer. But I'm sure she'd rather like hang out with her friends and watch YouTube or video game, different generation thing. Okay, so one of the things, I did that for some Victorian cuff or collars, no worries, I type slowly. You're fine. I'm distracted by pattern alterations, so I'm probably not reading it as quickly as I could. So the pattern pieces for sewist.com, I did print them out at the PDF plotting, but they look like I have to attach pieces together, which is unfortunate. So, and it's not really well marked where the pieces need to connect. So I'm having to, yes, based on seam allowances, which isn't the greatest. So I think this is my entire front skirt. Okay, so I can trim this. So the front skirt, which I know you can't see all the way, sorry. I'm going to need to break this apart to match up with the alterations I have done on the front, because the black label has a contrasting front. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. So my front skirt, I'm going to need to split it apart into 3. So I'll have a center front skirt and then side front skirt pieces. So this is center front. And then I am going to, do you ever look for your tape measure and then it's draped around your neck? It happens to me all the time. All right. So I am just measuring the top waistband of the skirt. And so half of the top is 19 3/4. So I am going to combine the measurement of my 2 front pieces, just so I know like the fullness that's gathered. So 19 inches is going to be gathered into 13 1/4. Okay. I'm writing that down because I'm not going to remember that. Right, and I said 13.5. Let me write down I forgot the waistband measurement already. 19 3/4. Okay. All right. So 13.5 gets gathered down into 19.75. And of that 13.5, so of that 13.5, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 is the center, and then the rest is this the side front. So I will break that into 11 and 2.5. Okay. So I need to do some math to figure out how much of the front skirt needs to be red and how much of it needs to be the red 12 de Joy. I'm going to have to use my brain. So right now I'm just figuring out the gathering percentage. If I can find my calculator. Okay, so gathering percentage. I have, let's just do quick, 13.5 divided by 19.75. Actually, I should probably do it the other way down, right? Divided by 13.5. Okay, so the waist waistband is 1.46 larger than the bodice. So I need to multiply each one of these measurements by 1.46, and that'll determine the width of the skirt pieces. Okay, 2.5 times 1.46 equals, okay, so 3.65 of this skirt front piece, which you can't see. Let me move it a little bit. I don't know if you can see this right here. So this is the front skirt. This is the cut on fold. And this waistband is what gets gathered into the bodice. So from this center front, I need to measure out 3.65 inches plus add a seam allowance. And that will be the center red portion of the skirt. All right, I'm using my quilt ruler. So I need, what did I say? 3.65. Okay, so that is equivalent to like 3 5/8, right? What's 5/8? Oops. 5, yeah, 3 5/8. Okay, cool. All right. So I am measuring 3 5/8 from the center front. And you cannot see this, I'm sorry. All right, this seems like it's too easy. I wonder if I did something wrong. We shall see, right? Okay, so this needs to be red, cut 1 on fold, and then I'm adding a seam allowance of 3/8. All right, so what I may do is I might trace that center front inset for the skirt, or draft a separate piece. So let me go back to my sewist.com so I can show you what I will need to do to my skirts once it loads. So I was not able to get the exact skirt that I wanted for the black label. So you can see this bottom tier is quite a bit higher. Yeah, right. That's why we do mock-ups. So I'm going to have to lengthen this front skirt section, and I'll have to shorten this bottom section. And I don't want to guess on that. I don't know if you have seen this pattern before, but this is from my stash. And I think that that bottom tier looks so much like the bottom tier on the gunny sacks. So I'm planning on measuring that, that length. I'm trying to find the picture again. Yeah, I don't know if you can see or not. But you see that the bottom tier on the black label, I think it's pretty comparable to the bottom layer on the McCall's 3898. So I'm just going to, yeah, right? So I'm going to just measure that length, and then that's how long that bottom tier will need to be. And then I will add the difference, because this is a maxi. Yeah, I will add the difference to the front top skirt. So you're going to hear some pattern rustling while I dig here. If the pattern piece is in here, right? Let's hope the pattern piece is in here. What pattern piece am I looking for? I am looking for 15. So what pattern, Kimberly, were you planning on using for your gunny sacks dress? Are you going to be drafting it yourself or using like an existing simplicity pattern. Sorry if the pattern paper is a little loud. My mom made herself that dress. Oh, I know, right? I want to say I'm lucky. My grandmother was a little bit of a hoarder. And I say that lovingly, but she definitely kept things that she should not have kept. And fabric and sewing patterns were one of those things. And so I inherited pretty much all of her fabric and sewing patterns. So that's where this came from, because she wouldn't let people get rid of them. Okay, so this looks like the bottom tier is 6 5/8 plus a seam allowance, both ends. So that makes it 7 5/8. So I will write that down. So my ruffle needs to be 7 5/8 long. Put this back. So are you drinking tea or taking any ibuprofen or anything to get over the booster? Or are you just taking it easy today? I definitely took a 12-hour nap Tuesday night because I got my booster Monday afternoon. And then of course nothing happened to my husband. I'm just a big baby, I guess, because he got his booster the same day. Yeah. I'm just looking at these pattern pieces. You can see the bodice side front kind of looks like the pattern piece we drafted, only there's a little bit more fullness because of where the inset is. Let me look at the cuff. What do we think? The cuff is a little bit shorter than the one from Sewist. I'm kind of curious. If I can find it, I'm going to measure it just to be on the safe side. Because that will let me know if we are in the ballpark with our cuff length, right? Ruffle. Ruffle. Lots of ruffles. This is the short sleeve. Bodice front. Hey, this is looking promising. I think I might actually have all my pieces. This is cuff. All right. Oh yeah, this cuff is I think pretty much standard of which the one we got. Yeah, so this cuff is 7 inches and we made ours 9.5. That's 2.5 inches extra. So 7 versus 9.5. Yeah, I think 9.5 would be good enough. Like, you're trying to give me a pep talk about the cuffs. Don't stress too much. It'll be fine. I know, right? And I am making a mock-up of the sleeves. I don't know why I don't know. Maybe because I have it all out. So I might as well double check before I put it away. Right, so I think I am done with McCall's 38.98 because I have my ruffle length of 7 5/8 inches. And I've confirmed that the cuff we've added with the 9.5 inches is an improvement over the standard Sewist.com pattern. And let me see if I can get my pattern pieces back in this 45-year-old sewing pattern. Yeah, when is the sewing pattern from? 1973. So almost 50 years old. Yeah, proportions, right? Yeah. And I'm pretty tall too, so it's hard to get proportions right. And that's why I like sewist.com, because it does ask your height. So I'm hoping that means they do some adjustments. I've had some pretty good luck with their patterns in the past. So we shall see, right? Okay. So I have this front skirt. I'm going to move the front skirt to the side. There's so many pattern pieces. I mean, I've made a jacket, and I think I had like 37 pattern pieces before, so this isn't too bad. Okay. I think this is supposed to be okay. So this is the lower back. No, this is the upper back skirt. I don't need that. Lower back skirt. Okay. And where's the front lower skirt? Okay. So this is where I need to add this. Right. I wish these were marked. This isn't helpful. There we go. Okay. So this is the top of the lows. Oh, I'm only 5'2". I learned about proportions when making my outfits for work. Oh, is that where you go? Are you still working that? Or is that what you used to do at the Great Dickens Fair? I've never had a chance to do that. I know they're having some issues lately with some staff, but they work everything out. That would be a nice place to visit. Okay. So this is, total length is 17 and a quarter. Okay. 17.5. I'm just measuring the full length of the skirt. Okay. So I have measured the top skirt and the bottom skirt. And let me see if my math, if this works out. And I'll check it against my leg length and make sure it makes sense. Okay, 17.5, which is the length of the lower skirt, plus 28.25 equals 45. That seems kind of long, right? Let me check. Oh no, that's right. Wow, okay. All right, I guess my legs are pretty long. So 45.75 is the full length of the skirt without seam allowances. And then we measured the bottom ruffle equals 7 5/8. So I need to minus 7.625. So top skirt needs to be 38 1/8. I'll go 6 weekends. No, it's not realistic from Portland. Yeah, I think it used to be at the Cow Palace, right? I don't know. I've never had a chance to go over there. I have a couple of patterns to sew up. I do, I guess it's kind of like a Renaissance fair, right? It's just on the weekends. I've traveled for some Renaissance fairs, but definitely, yeah, you wouldn't be able to work it because there's probably a whole bunch of logistics and stuff you'd have to do before you got there. Okay, is this a perfect square? Let's check. Yeah, I'm a big Ren Fair person. So we go to the one up here in Bounty Lake. And then when we lived in, yeah, it's put on the same, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that it's put on by the same people that did the first Renaissance Fair. Yeah, it's probably the one, that Renaissance Fair is probably the one that's in by Gilroy now. And we went to that one a couple of times when we were still in California. So right now I'm just measuring to see the dimensions of this to see if it is just a rectangle, if I can get away with just a rectangle, or if I need to taper it all. Okay, it's just a rectangle. Sweet. Okay, so it is 23 and a half. Okay, so bottom ruffle is 23.5. Let me see, and I'm cutting cut two by 7 5/8. Okay, because that's the back ruffle. And then the front ruffle, let's do the full length. So 23.5, so that would be 47. Okay, and then we'd have to do the same math that we did for the front. Oh, you worked the fair in Gilroy. Awesome. Yeah, we probably saw you. That was our big trip every year. The whole fam would go. We would get a hotel, and then we would spend the weekend at the fair. Yeah, it's definitely bigger than the one up here. And I have never had a chance. I think there's one in Irvine, like really Southern California, that we have not had a chance to go to yet. Okay. All right. To use my math brain. Okay. So this is 47 inches times 2. So 47 for the front, 47 for the back. And then we did math earlier, right? Gather 2. Oh, okay. And see right here. So it's telling me that I need to gather this 23 and a half inches to 18.23 inches. So it already did the math. So I can figure that out myself. Let's, all right, I think maybe I need coffee. Okay, so I need to gather 23 and a half down to 18.25. So that would mean 18.25 times 2. I need to gather the front down to 36 and a half. Okay, for the front, lower ruffle. And then I need to split that in thirds, I think. Let me check the picture. I may have to call my daughter down to provide caffeine. Oh man, this time change is like only Southern California is supposed to be pretty epic since it's near Hollywood. Oh, I bet it would be. We're gonna have to check that out. So right now I am looking at the dress just to remind myself what that bottom tier looked like. Where is it? Wow, I've lost it. I should have them bookmarked as favorites, right? The amount of times I've been looking at it. Okay, so here's the front again. So it needs to be divided into 3 sections. Let me look at the front. Weird. Oh no, okay. I'm confusing myself. I'm like looking at the maths on the first skirt. I will still want to check out the Oregon and Washington. Yeah, I know. Definitely put a damper to a lot of our plans. I'm just glad the one in Washington was able to move forward this year. Okay. I don't know why. I thought this was going to be a little bit easier, but I mean, it hasn't been too complicated. If the skirt pieces came in one piece, it would make it a lot easier for me, and then I wouldn't get confused. Which is, now I know, really big skirted patterns from Sewist come in multiple pieces. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with big events after the holiday season, because this is going to be our first big holiday season with a bunch of vaccinated people, improved understanding of the disease. So yeah, hopefully things can settle down soon. I'm forever trying to be optimistic. I'm just glad my daughter is able to go to school in person. She did okay virtual, but in person is definitely better. Okay, upper skirt. Back lower skirt. Okay, and this is front lower skirt. And this is yeah, I definitely am I'm not going to pattern out the low ruffle since it's just a giant rectangle. I just need to get the dimensions for the front because it splits apart in 3. And then I'll be adding length to the front and back skirts because the Sewist has a shorter middle tier. Okay. So bottom ruffle in the back, we decided 23 and a half by, so the length is 7 5/8, and then it is the width is 25 and a half times 2. So I need to do the same math to the front based on the breakdown. Okay. This is the math we did before with gathering this. I think I need to make this more A-line, right? Because the sides are A-line. I'm going to taper this out a little bit. You need to see the difference. So right now I'm just folding it on center front to figure out how much of an A-line taper the base had. And we are at 4 inches. So I am going to yeah, I think I'm going to taper this. Yeah, right? Yeah. I'm like, this This is why I review everything. Okay, so if this goes out 4, I can probably just go out 4 here too. Right. That looks way too severe. And when I'm done drafting this, I will like put notes in the description box and try to edit this. I think I'm only going to do 2.5, honestly. That's more realistic. And then folks will have a better understanding. So I am, I had originally bumped it all the way out to 4, and that just seemed way too much. So I'm bumping it out to 2.5. So instead of the flare going out from 4.5 at the bottom, from 4 at the bottom, it's only going to go up 2.5, and then it'll be a less severe A-line. Yeah, it's a lot better. Much better. We'll see if it works. Hey there, 3 people. If anyone has any questions, feel free. I am obviously still learning, but it's good time. All right, so 3/8. So I'm adding seam allowance now to that A-line taper I added to the front center front section. That's going to be the red portion of the front skirt. This one seems like more of a close fitted A-line, less gathering at the top. Yeah, it said it was a gathered skirt, so we'll see. Yeah, once I make it up, I may make another version with more. Yeah, because I was thinking, you know, like I was expecting like a full like 1.5 gathering, and this is, what did I do the math? I think we're at like 1.42, right? So it's not quite a 1.5. So I think it'll be good enough. It's just not going to be, you know, as full. That'll also allow me, because I was a little worried about being short on fabric. So I think this will help me save some fabric as well. Okay, so I have tapered the center A-line, and I need to trace that. And then I will also have to make this longer, right? So all right, I had a piece of paper with maths on it. What did I do with it? All right, I think I said the flow length of the skirt. Oh yeah, 45.75. Okay, and then so the top needs to be 38 1/8. So how long is it? Yeah, so I need to add 10 inches to the bottom of this front skirt. Yeah, I probably should have added the length before tapering out the A-line. Yeah. The medieval influence versus the prairie influence. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually, because I need to lengthen the top skirts by 10 inches. So I'm going to add a lengthen and shorten line in the middle of this. That way I can maintain the A line. So 10 inches is a lot. I think I'm going to add 2 lengthen and shorten lines. So I will lengthen a third of the way from the top 5 inches and a third of the way from the bottom 5 inches. And then that way the length will be kind of equally dispersed. So I will do that. So this is 28 inches. So a third is like 6 from the bottom. So I will do that. That'll be my first lengthen and shorten line. And then I will add another one 6 inches from the top. I'm still live, hun. Oh, okay. Is that taking into account your ruffle at the bottom? Yeah, so I'm linking this by the full length of the skirt is 45 inches, and so 45 and 3/4, 45.75. And the bottom ruffle without seam allowance is 7 5/8. So I have measured this skirt and it is 28 inches. So I need to, because I subtract the 7 5/8 from the 45.75. And so the top skirt needs to be 38 1/8 inches. So I'm going to be taking the current length, which is 28, and adding 10 inches to make the top skirt the length as the same as the Gunny Sacks one. Hopefully that made sense. And this is just scraps from the from cutting out. So I'm just going to make 5-inch long strips to insert with a little bit of an overhang. And I'm probably not being very clear. And I'm sure there's something in here that I will forget and will have to address later on. But see, I was thinking I wasn't going to make a mock-up of the skirt, but now I'm thinking maybe I should. That just seems like a lot of fabric. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should make a mock-up of the skirt. That would probably be the best. I should do that. I don't usually make a mock-up of the skirt. Do you make mock-ups of your skirts or just your bodice? Or do you not do mock-ups? I don't know. Right. So right now I'm just marking 1 inch for overlap to line up with that lengthen and shorten line that I just drew on the skirt. And then I will add a 5-inch rectangle above that. And that will be that length that I need to add to the skirt. And then my 1 inch overlap, and then the rest of that will just get okay. Oh, okay. Oh, so you would make a wearable. Oh, okay. Yeah. I should probably do that. Trying to think, okay, like, do I have fabric that will work for a wearable muslin of this person's dress? I don't know if I do, but that might be a good reason to go shopping. I would want a solid print. I did overbuy. I bought like 25 yards of trim. So I would be able to make 2 of these. So I might just do the pattern alterations tonight. And then tomorrow I might go to Joann's or my local quilt shop and buy a solid, maybe or use the mock-up as lining. Yeah, this dress doesn't have lining except for at the cuffs and internal facing. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe I can make the green version. I really like the green version. All right, so I have a 5-inch rectangle that I've made, and I'm just going to line it up and then tape it, and that will be my lengthen. So I will be doing that twice to make up the 10 inches of length that this tier needs. I was really surprised when I did that vintage investigations where I was like analyzing that sundress that one of my friends lent to me. You know, that it wasn't, I mean, there wasn't lining. It was, yes, do the green. Peer pressure. Yes, do the green one. Yeah, they're just, I expected gun. Well, maybe it was because it was a sundress version and not, you know, like a wedding dress. It just seemed more simple than I expected it to be, you know, per construction. All right. Come on, be flat. There we go. That's better. I'm just matching this up. I always think this will be like, oh yeah, it'll take like an hour or 2 to do the pattern alterations. And I'm 2 hours in. Yeah, maybe, depending on when I'm done with these pattern alterations, Joann's might still be open. That's because most women still wore slips. Oh, yeah. And like all the undergarments, they wouldn't need all the linings. Yeah, you're right. They were, oh yeah. I actually have a vintage slip on my mannequin because sometimes it is on the outside of, you know, like the background when I do Zoom calls, and it is a little bit more full at the bottom. Yeah, it's gathered a little bit at the waist, and it's not, it's a cotton slip. It's not a nylon tricot either. So it's definitely vintage. It's pretty though. But not like the 50s. Yeah. I made a holiday Barbie. There's a bunch of us at the con at Emerald City Comic Con that dressed up like holiday Barbies. And it was the first time I've ever worn the hoop skirt. I mean, crinoline, you know, I've worn before, but not a hoop skirt. Oh my goodness. Like there's no way people wore that on a day-to-day basis. At least not in this century. Could hardly walk around, bumping into people. Oh yeah, these skirts are gonna eat up some fabric. I'm glad. Yep, cotton sateen is good. Yeah, it would be nice and cool against the skin too. All right, so I don't know if you can tell, but here is I'm gonna have to cut it, but this is the front skirt. So you can see here is the top and then all the way down. So I just have to trim it out and even out my lines a little bit. This is my least favorite part. Just trying to like taper down the lines. I'm glad I did multiple because there's no way I would have been able to make this work. And you are missing my full concentration face. Okay. So, Kimberly, so you primarily do costuming? And less garment sewing? It's a lot of fun. Or, oh, okay. Wow, 110 inches at the bottom of the hem. That's crazy. Yeah, I definitely, I don't know if I'd be able to wear that multiple days during a weekend. So that's more power to you for being able to wear that giant skirt while you're working all weekend. And then especially because there's like all the tourists walking around, so you'd be having to dodge a whole bunch of normal people, normal clothes. Unless you stay behind a stall, and then maybe you can sit down. But I'm not sure the setup. I haven't obviously been there yet. So right now I'm just trimming down the front. I will have to kind of address. Let's see. I'm used to getting more interested. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a big driver for me on why I sew is I just can't get vintage clothing in my size. And if I do find it in my size, it's usually pretty well loved, which is fine. I like mending vintage clothes, but definitely not a pro at that. All right, so now I have to taper the center skirt that I made before, and then I will draft a second, like just trace that piece so I don't have to cut this apart too much. Oh, and a corset, but the corset helps with the weight of the skirt. Okay, I worked dark art corsetry, so I was in a dressing room helping someone try out a corset. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have not purchased a historically accurate corset. I do have like the fun ones from the fair, but they are obviously more for fun than like historical accuracy. I did have my first successful boned, like internally boned dress, my Barbie dress. I put some spiral steel boning on there. It worked pretty well. My friend's skirt, who is one of the ballroom dancers, is 130 inches and wears a hoop and full fluffy petticoats. Wow. Built-in social distancing, right? So I'm just taping the back of the skirt pieces. So I was thinking about not cutting this apart, but I'm just going to do it because I can always tape it together if need be. I just need to add a seam allowance. I should be fine. Cut one on fold of red. Center skirt. I have made those Ren Fair bodices and they are fun. Yeah, I have I made this like cross stitch design with a dragon. Oh yeah, social distancing, right? And I always thought it'd be fun to use as like a stomacher because I don't know what to do with it. So maybe by next year I'll make just a fun. Oh, what's your? Oh, I was 2000. So I was holding a little Barbie ornament that I made to go with it. It was so much fun. I don't know if you can see it. But I definitely, the hoop skirt was not long enough for me, but it was the only one I could get in time. Because I had ordered one online and it was just your basic like long crinoline and I thought that would be full enough and it was not. So I don't know, I might be making a hoop skirt because it was not long enough for me. I mean, I'm not quite 5'10", so it was probably about 6 inches too short. It's good enough though, which is probably another reason why I was tripping over my hem so much. Yeah, just a lot of lessons learned, but it fit and it supported my chest really well. Which, oh, sweet, yeah. Yeah, we Rebecca and I were actually filmed together for the ECC's, one of ECC's videos, so you can see us walking together and twirling and laughing. It was a lot of fun. I'm so glad I got invited to join that group. Yeah. And I was going to go to the con with one of my girlfriends, but she just had a baby, so obviously baby priority over con. So maybe next year. Okay, so I have the center front skirt panel lengthened and cut out. So I need to add seam allowance to the other side of the front skirt. Now the back skirt is will be easier because it just needs to be lengthened. I will not need to do the wonky maths and stuff for the skirt. So that will be nice. They aren't supposed to go to the floor. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So it was hitting where it was supposed to. Okay. Thank you. I'm learning stuff left and right. Yeah, Rebecca and I were the only two like predominantly gold Barbies. So we got grouped together in a lot of pictures. But it was nice meeting Rebecca in person. She lives fairly local to me. I just haven't had a chance to meet her before. She also has a local like historical costuming guild on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not quite looped in on that. And there's a lot of local cosplayers I follow on Instagram, so it was nice meeting those people in person. And everyone was super sweet, and I dragged my daughter to the con, so she was super helpful and watched everyone's purses and stuff while we were taking pictures. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to do it. Sense of normalcy. We'll see. There's a couple other local cons coming up in the next couple of months, so we may or may not do that. My husband can usually only hang for one con a year, so he came on one day during Emerald City Comic Con, so I don't know if he'd want to attend any of the other cons I go to this year, but we shall see. Yeah, I used one of Gertie's sewing patterns to make the bodice for my holiday Barbie. And so I considered filming, oh, you make a petticoat with a long ruffle to go over the hoop, which softens the, okay. That makes sense. Cause I had like this giant bump. Okay. So I need to make a ruffle petticoat to go on top of my hoop skirt next time. That makes sense. And then that would prevent the overskirt from like getting sucked under and me tripping over it. Cons are fun and have a con dress. Oh yeah. 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 I was like, she's my handler. She's helping me. Yeah. Definitely need a minder. Especially when you're wearing something that big. And it was kind of stressful for me because, you know, normally I'm like pretty low key with my costumes. So because we live like a half an hour, 45 minutes away from downtown. And so what we would usually do is just dress up and just park for the day. And I was like trying to figure out logistically how I would get in and out of the car. And so we ended up getting a hotel room. But then, you know, you've got the stress of like, did I grab everything? But man, I can't believe if you were working the Dickens Fair every weekend, then you were probably having to stay there and have everything there. Oh, I could see that being stressful. Okay. I'm going to flip over. Yeah, I think I'm not going to get a chance to do the mock-up tonight because I'm already 2.5 hours in. Yeah. I was thinking I would probably stay on for like 3 or 4 hours. We'll see how things go. This is definitely a lot easier than a full video because then I have to keep adjusting the camera back and forth for my face and record voiceover later. So I might do more of these. We shall see. Now I know why costume historian, or is it? Yeah, no, not costume historian. Yeah, right. That's Bianca, costume historian, I think. She always like fast forwards her patterning table of doom. I hope this isn't too boring for you. I made a friend a petticoat with a removable bottom ruffle, one black and one white. Oh, that's a great idea. I haven't needed a petticoat for my costumes yet, so that's probably needs to be on my to-do list. Okay, so front skirt. I'm going to write the measurements for my bottom tier. So bottom ruffle. 7 5/8 by 23.5. Oh no, I need to do math. I think I said what 1.46 was my math, so I need to measure that. I day tripped to Dickens because it was only 30 minutes, but we have a back. Oh, okay. Yeah, the back. That makes sense. You would need that. Okay, so my bottom ruffle needs to be 12 by 12 times 1.46, I think is what the math was. 17. Okay, so my is my math right? This is 12, then this needs to be 17.5. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. I'm just confused because it's cut on a fold, and that's what's making me second guess it. Yes, the green patterning table of doom, right? I love that. Yeah, mine's white. It's just a basic IKEA tabletop, and then I have a cutting mat that I lay on top of it when I'm cutting. And it's got grids and everything. Sometimes if I'm like drafting all of the patterns, I will put the grid on because it makes it easier. Okay, so I need to measure this bottom. 18 times 1.46 equals 26. Okay, so bottom ruffle times 2 is, I'm sketching a little, I don't know if you can see it. I'm putting this on my pattern paper so I don't lose these measurements. 7 5/8. And then this is 26.28. And I'm going to be cutting 2 of these bottom ruffles, and this would be red for that bottom tier. And then this one would be this is the center, so this is red. So I need to cut out of the floral fabric. Sweet. Okay, so I have the front skirt done. So all I need for the back is to lengthen it by 10 inches and then do the back ruffle math. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to be making a green one just because now I'm not trusting my math. It's making sense in my head right now, but that might change later. Okay, this is the lower back. I don't need that. This is the back upper skirt. Okay, all right. So this is the back upper skirt. So this is the one that we need to lengthen by 10 inches. Measure the bottom of your pattern to make sense. Oh, of the McCall's one? Oh. The delay. Never mind, you've got it. Thanks, Kimberly. We'll get through this together. All right, so I am measuring 6 inches down to create my my lengthen and shorten line, and then from the bottom I do 6 inches, and then I just measure from that all the way across. This will be hopefully a lot easier because I only have one skirt piece I'm going to have to finagle. So that'll be hopefully easier. We shall see. Okay, and then I don't need the bottom ruffle because it's all rectangles anyways. So I can use this for my 5-inch strips. What you don't see is I've got like a giant, well, anytime I'm messing with my patterns, I always just cut off the pieces and throw it behind me. Okay, so I will do my 5-inch, yay for the green too. So that might be, maybe I'll do another live this weekend of just sewing up the green mock-up. Yeah, I will. I'm sure I can find something. I'll go when maybe Joann's opens. Or if I get a super desire to be productive, I might just do, you know, late night, midnight shopping at, I call that Project Creep, right? I was just thinking, I was like, well, if I get super desperate to do the mock-up, I might be able to buy the fabric tonight if I go to Walmart because it's open late. But they probably won't have the greatest selection. Okay. I know. Now I'm kind of excited about that green one. I might not go the exact same route. I might not do, I'm always going to say it wrong, the Toile de Joy, I think is what the fabric's called. I will not probably go that route. I will probably just go floral because I haven't had great luck finding that kind of fabric. The Toile de Joy, I think is what it's called. I have not had the greatest luck finding that out in the wild, except for the fabric I bought. I actually found from another person who collects gunny sacks, and so she had bought it to create this black label dress. So she's super excited about the fabric she hoarded for years is now finally going to turn into the dress she envisioned. It's just not going to be for her. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. I bet your cat loves to have the paper to play in. Yeah. It's so funny. So I got these printed at PDF Potting, so they were super rolly, and they wanted to curl in on themselves. And so I had it laying flat, you know, with my pattern weights before the video, so I could get it to cooperate a little bit more. And of course, like it was out for 3 minutes, and my cat just immediately started sitting on it. I'm like, seriously? It's just like all the fabric. I actually am one of those people. I am a crazy cat lady. I have 3 cats. And they all love getting in here when I'm being productive. Especially when I do my sewing Zoom calls. 2 of them just love getting in front of the camera. So now I'm trying to figure, like, what is this piece? Is this just scraps? Okay, these are my 2 5 inches. Okay. Just need to make sure. I'm probably getting dizzy with all this paper fluff going everywhere. One of these days, I will invest in like a proper overhead camera hoist so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. Right now, it's just a tripod that I have my webcam pointed down. Does the job. And I'm not, like, right now I'm not making any money off of YouTube, and I don't have the time to try to make anything from it. It's just more of a, I don't know, sharing my sewing related ranting. Okay. I'm so excited. This is the last, I think this is the last piece I'm going to have to alter. I just need to take the measurements of the ruffle. I think I have it written down. Yeah, 23.5. Yeah, so I just have to mark out the rectangle on the bottom of this pattern piece. And then all of the pattern alterations are done. And I would just need to buy the mock-up fabric. I'm seeing green hollyberry quilting. Oh, I bet that, yeah, that's a good idea. We shall see what the fabric gods will bless me when I go to the fabric store. The hardest part for me is finding what I would consider an aesthetically pleasing solid color. I have two 16-year-old siblings, Beaker, and the girl is Olio. Oh, 16. Babies have lived a long time. Yeah, the three cats I have are, the oldest one is Zelda, and she is super high maintenance. I love her to death, but she's a strange kitty. She freaks out over a lot of little things. And then I thought maybe having a friend would make her feel better. Definitely not. Nope. So I got Atticus 2 years later after I got Zelda. And Atticus and Zelda do not get along, but Atticus is the sweetest kitty. And he wanted a friend, and Zelda wasn't having it. And so we ended up then waiting another 2 years and getting our third cat, which is Hobbs. And Hobbs and Atticus they might as well be siblings. They cuddle all the time, and they're just inseparable. You were working on alterations, Kimberly? So I kept you company and you were productive? Just like you kept me company and I was productive with my pattern alterations? Best Friday ever. Oh, with the hollyberry is more winter inspired? Yeah. I wonder, I'll just have to see. Maybe I might drag my daughter with me. I'll see if I can get one that is seasonally fluid, and then I could wear it more often. I mean, even my red one, like, I can wear more. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see what Joann's has. And we'll see what they have. Definitely gonna have a big mess to clean up. So the real question is, do I clean up after myself? Because I still haven't cleaned up all the glitter from Barbie. Or do I leave the pattern mess here and then go get fabric and then wait to clean up tomorrow before I sew my mock-up? That's the real question. How lazy can I be? And I can get my quick dopamine hit from my fabric purchasing. I should look at my stash. I might have something in my stash. Okay, so I have the back skirt done, and then my math earlier, my bottom ruffle. I'm gonna draw my little, I don't know if you've seen, quilt chops are good for finding solids. Yeah, I agree. Bottom ruffle, 7 5/8 and 23.5 times 2. All right, so let's do a final breakdown of all of my pattern pieces. Okay, so we have the skirt, back skirt, bottom ruffle. We have the front skirt, which is strange. Why would the back not be gathered as much as the front? Definitely going to make a mock-up. So we have the front skirt with the bottom ruffle measurements. And then we need the back. This would be red, cut 2. Okay, and this is red, cut 2. And this is our center skirt. And I've got my bottom ruffle measurements. And it's going to cut on a fold. Okay, so that's the skirt. We have our front bodice piece. And we have our center bodice piece, red and toile. I have the back exposed facing that goes with the back. Oh, excuse me. And then I have my, what is this? Oh, no, I cut. Yeah, okay. So this is the cuff that we'll have to cut 8 of. So the cuff is done. We've got the sleeve. We have the center waistband and the side front waistband. I think that's everything. So here, you're gonna finally see my face. Yeah, clean up later. Thanks. Yeah, you see, I've got all my pattern paper and my muslin right there. Oh my goodness. Fabric search first. I love it. Okay. So that's everything. Thanks for sticking around. I will transfer my notes into the description box, and if I can, I will be downloading this video and editing it a little bit and making it easier to consume, and maybe add some chapters when this goes live. I'm still learning. This is the first live I've done, but I think it is only 6:48, so I can make it to the fabric store tonight and pre-wash my fabric and have everything ready for sewing the mock-up tomorrow. So I might go live again tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, all right. I was washing and ironing fabric, but mostly resting. Yeah, I like it. So keep resting, Kimberly, and I hope you bounce back from your booster. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is a lot of fun. And good luck with your next project. And I cannot wait to see your pumpkin spice latte dress next fall. So I'm going to log off, but I will be back, and hopefully I can find you in the interwebs sometime soon, and we'll keep in touch. Have a great weekend. Bye.